you talked about legal action. What are the plans?
Well, our legal advisor are looking at our options right now. We believe that the Supreme Court decision regarding our right to strike, it's a constitutional right, and we believe that the application of Article 107 is not valid, and we are looking at our options regarding that situation.
So what would be the timing? Things seem to be moving really.
Well, things are moving quite rapidly. I understand that this morning our group at CN signified the 72 hours notice for a strike at CN. So we will see at CN the same scenario than the one here at CP. That's first thing. And as I said, our legal team are looking at all our options right now.
With regard to just the company's demands at this point, what is it meant practically for a lot of these people?
Well, for these people, it means that they're going to be away from their home more. The companies are looking for more flexibility, and keep in mind, these people are working long hours. They are spending a lot of time away from home, and we want to make sure that they have decent and reasonable working condition. The CP and CN demands would have break our collective agreement, and their demands are unacceptable. And this is why we are where we are right now.
What do you have to say to people that are expressing concern about how the work stoppage is going to be, impacting the economy in the days, possibly weeks in the future?
Well, it's a work stoppage. It's a work stoppage, and obviously it's going to have impact on the economy. But I want people to realize and understand that the Canadian Industrial Labour Board issued a decision 2 weeks ago that this is not essential services and there is no emergency. And this is why we were surprised with the minister's decision yesterday, because 2 weeks ago he said, well, no arbitration and no back to work. And then suddenly, within a couple of days, he's probably under pressure from the Chamber of Commerce, from the association everywhere, that he was pressed, and he got the pressure, and he made that decision suddenly that, okay, guys, we have to force you back to work. And as far as we are concerned, this is not acceptable. The best way to have a contract is at the bargaining table. We don't believe to let a third party to decide what's going to be our working condition. We know the railway operation are very complicated. The union knows the operation. The companies knows the operation, and they know what we need to operate this and to provide the workers a decent working condition. So we believe in fair and honest bargaining, and that's what we want. We want a fair and honest bargaining with the company.
When you said this isn't over when you were talking to the crowd here, do you mean this round of bargaining, or are we talking for the future?
Well, this is not over at this time. I mean, the board still have to handle this file. And as I said, this strike continues as far as we are concerned. We notify the CN and CP of a strike notice, and we will use our constitutional right to fight the company here. So we are here, and we're going to stay here.
Will the pickets continue if CP decides that they're going to?
Well, we have a strike, and we have a constitutional right to be here, and that's what we are exercising.
Can you give us an idea of just how far things broke off at 1201?
Well, the basis of the negotiation was companies' demand, essentially concession. So we were not even negotiating. We were not even trying to negotiate unions' demand. I mean, they put offers on the table that were not even acceptable. It would have cracked down our collective agreement, and for us, it was not something that was acceptable. We want to build on those collective agreements. We don't want to make any concession.
What are the next steps with this strike?
I'm sorry.
What are the next steps with the strike notice?
For
the strike notice?
Yes. Well, we are here. Now we're going to see what the board decides. We have our bargaining team, CP bargaining team and CN bargaining team on the union side, who are now discussing with the board, and we're waiting for the decision.
And do you think, there's a lot of conversation going on about this, do you think rail should be
I can barely hear you, sorry.
Do you think rail should be deemed an essential service to, prevent stoppages like this in the future?
Well, the board decided it's not an essential service, and keep in mind, the employers also agreed that this is not essential service. So both sides, union and the companies, recognize that this is not essential services.
Any message for your workers that are still out there?
Well, it's an unfortunate situation, but we want them, we salute their courage. We salute the courage and the commitment of the bargaining committee. They worked hard, they are facing a tough situation. They need to stay strong, and the Teamsters will prevail. We never walk away from a fight, and we will not walk away from this fight.
If we had CN rail workers back to work today, now we have strike notice in place again. So are there going to be employees going out there doing their tours of duty over the next couple of days, and then they could be once again on strike?
Well, if we are out by CIRB, our people will still on strike. We will still on the streets, so operation will not resume, and it's not going to be business as usual for both companies.
What does that mean for your members if you got them stranded in different places across the country? If you have them back at work and off work, what sort of stress has this put on your members?
Well, our people understand the importance of sticking together, and we will stick together and we will fight this company. So it represents a big challenge, obviously. It's a challenge for us. It's a challenge for the Canadian population. We understand there's going to be consequences, but the strike is a strike, and a lockout is a lockout. And keep in mind, the reason why we are here first is because they decided to put us on the street. It was not our first choice.
You're obviously here this morning. Did you dial into the 8 o'clock meeting?
The 8 o'clock meeting?
Yeah, the one with the board.
No, I was not there. So I was here this morning. So 8 o'clock it was Eastern time, but we have people over there. At this point, I don't have any feedback from that. No.
In terms of what the sentiments were during that meeting?
No.
Do you have any choice to disobey the
Well, it's not about disobeying the Minister order. It's about exercising our right. And as I said, we will exercise our right within the legal framework. So it's for us, it's not about going against the law, but we will work within the framework of the law. That's
so the strike continues?
The strike continues.
You gave us a bit of insight earlier on this American unions conflict. What impact is that having on American unions?
Well, maybe my colleague from the international union may talk about this, the impact of this strike on the south of the border. Sean, you want to answer that question?
Well, first off, I think what's important here is not to lose sight of the fact of who caused this problem right now. They chose to lock these workers out, and that's a disgrace. These workers, remember, everybody forgets 2-3 years ago when we went through the toughest times worldwide with a pandemic that no one saw coming, the one thing that was constant was these workers over here, our members, were providing goods and services to not only Canada, but to the world. And they were deemed heroes. When is the last time that any of these folks over here have been referred to as essential workers? They were heroes when the company needed them. They sacrificed their lives in some cases, sacrificed their own safety to provide these goods and services. All the while, these companies are making record profits. And what happens now? They're not considered heroes. The company locked them out, and they're considering zeros, which was unacceptable. And how this will affect America, I think, or other countries? Look, the reality of it is corporate greed is running rampant. That's the major pandemic worldwide. These companies, all they care about is their profits, bottom line of their balance sheets. They don't care about the people that make them the success they are. And I'll tell you right now, whether this is a lockout or a strike, our workers here will have full support of any and all resources in the United States. I get to represent 1.3 million working men and women in the United States and Canada. It's a privilege, it's a right, but we got an obligation to make sure we fight, we take on this corporate greed, whether it's in the United States or in Canada, and we will provide every resource. The impact it'll have, obviously, there's a lot of goods and services shipped across borders. If this company chooses to continue their bad behavior, then it's going to have an impact. It may have an impact on supply chain. It may have an impact on recessions in both respective countries. So they've got a lot of decisions they need to make. They need to make the most important decision. Reward these workers what they have earned, but also don't try and diminish safety. Don't try and diminish any conditions that were achieved just so they can feed their bottom line. And look, if a strike happens or if this lockout continues, we will provide resources and we will provide bodies to make certain that we're victorious moving on. Thank you.
Do you have any plans to coordinate any actions with unions down in the States?
How many fights have you been in your life?
A lot.
Okay. Do you ever tell the guy, hey, I'm going to punch you in the face before you do it?
Well, no comment.
No, you don't, right? You don't. So we're not going to give our strategy up. Of course, we're going to have a strategy. Of course, we're going to coordinate with brother and sister unions. Of course, we're going to collaborate. So I can't give you the details, but the reality of there will be a plan in place, and they won't like it.
And I'm wondering, has TCRC gone to federal court today to begin the process of challenging the minister's directive?
You're going to have to talk to the Teamsters president of Canada.
Well, as I said, we're looking at our options right now. So no decision have been made about what's going to be the path, but our legal teams is looking at that right now.
And I can imagine there's a bit of a timeline on this account.
Yeah, I mean, clock is ticking for everybody. So we are there, and as I said, our group is looking at all our options.
Perhaps one last question.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Have a good day.